Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 of In Your Shoes. That rhymed very perfectly, and I like that. As most of you guys know, if you watched the first episode, originally I did not call the show In Your Shoes. Originally it was called something else, which I had to change the name. I explained it in the first episode in a little disclaimer at the beginning there, but officially we've settled on the name of In Your Shoes, and I'm very excited to start this series officially on the right footing now, I think. Because we have a good question. It's going to be I think this one's going to be a shorter episode today, but you never know. You never know with what I might get into, how long the ramble will go on for, but either way, we have a really good question today, which I think is a good question to kind of branch off of the question in the first episode. Not that these episodes are like, not that there's any continuity here or whatever, but like I said, I do really appreciate a lot of the feedback that I've gotten on the first episode. Also, the reception of the first episode was way more than I could have asked for. Some very nice comments from people in my community, in my Discord and whatnot. And also, you guys can enjoy some amazing gameplay right now that I recorded ahead of time. Usually I record the episode and then the gameplay comes next, but I got bored last night while I was a little wine drunk, and I decided, hey, you know what? Let's pre-record some footage for an episode of In Your Shoes. In fact, I pre-recorded for several episodes at this point, so there's a lot to be excited about. Like I said, this is an advice/Q&A style show that I have brought to the channel, where I answer questions from my own audience, twitch.tv/tripshoes, or also here on the YouTube channel. And just general advice questions that I find online, which for now we're going to be sticking to doing viewer-submitted questions, which I want to kind of just jump in here right away with the topic of today's video, which is, if I wanted to be a streamer, what is the best advice you'd give? Now, immediately from this question, I am flashback to when I was a senior in college. My final semester, I was doing senior thesis. I had to write a script for a TV show pilot. That was actually what my senior thesis was. And I remember thinking to myself, well, there's so much more that I want to do than just be a writer. I like writing. Writing's very fun. I still write to this day. But I wanted to do a lot more than that. And as most of you guys know, if you watch the Twitch, like I said, you should probably get up to date on that if you don't. I got my start with radio broadcasting, which is something that I actually still do to this day. I still host a radio show. I'm not allowed to plug it, though, unfortunately, but if you know me, then you know where to find it, But I remember thinking to myself, well, there's so much more that I want to do than just be a radio host and also a writer. And I love internet. I love internet content. I watch YouTube all the time. I watch Twitch streamers. I was so into that. And I decided to myself in, I believe, January of 2023 that I was going to try my hand at being a streamer. And I didn't know where it was going to go. I actually didn't think I'd make it even this far, to have the setup that I have right now in front of me with all these lights, a really nice camera, a decent microphone, which I used to record everything, by the way. I never thought I would get this far. My advice to you, and I got advice to start out back in the day from a little, you may know the name. You may know Ludwig. Maybe you've heard the name Ludwig before. He made an amazing video about what you should do if you want to get into content creation in the current era that we're in. As you guys know, it's ever evolving, it's ever changing, and I followed that video. I haven't rewatched that video. I haven't revisited that to jog my memory to make this video here, but if there's anything I remember from it, the takeaway from it was just be dedicated and just start fucking making content. Just start doing it. My first ever streams were probably pretty bad if I were to look back on it. And I think that's the thing that people fear the most, is making something that's bad, or dare I say the big C word here, guys. Get ready. Everybody strap in, because I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, guys. Ready? Cringe. I'll say it. I'm probably still cringe to this day. A lot of my content is probably still cringe. But if I hadn't lived through that moment of being cringe, I would not be where I am now with the audience that I have. And I'm very grateful for every single one of you who shows up to my streams, watches my videos, leaves a comment, likes, and whatever. I wouldn't be there if I didn't live through just being, I guess, what the internet calls cringe. So my first piece of advice to this question, and by the way, I want to reiterate the question is, if I wanted to be a streamer, what is the best advice you'd give? If you wanted to be a streamer, I'm gonna reinterpret this question as you want to be a streamer. You probably want to make, if you're asking this question, whoever you might be, and by the way, these are all anonymous, submit your questions anonymous, by the way. I'm assuming you want to be a streamer or a YouTuber or a content creator in some capacity. And I feel like there was always this idea or this notion before I started creating content that you had to have a reason, a good reason to want to do it, besides the fact that you're just interested in it. There's no right or wrong answer, by the way, to that question of, why do you want to be a streamer? In fact, I want to actually kind of deviate from the original point here and talk about this because I remember feeling like you had to have a reason for wanting to create content, for wanting to be a content creator. And there's really no right answer to that question. If anybody ever asks you that question and they expect a right answer of why do you want to be a content creator, and you have to give some I don't know, I'm trying to think like as if a college professor putting you on blast. Why do you want to do this with your life? Why do you want to do this? Because you fucking feel like it. Because you want to. Because it interests you. That's a valid enough answer. And I wish I knew that going in, you know what I mean? I wish I didn't feel like I had to prove myself to be like, well, I want to change the game. I want to be, revolutionary. I want to, do all these things that, that change the platform and whatnot. You can just want to do it because you want to do it. So my first thing is, and I guess it kind of ties into the just start making content. There's no right answer. There's no right way to go about it at first. You should want to do it just simply because you want to do it. So my advice to you, if you want to be a streamer, which you do, if you're asking this question, that tells me that you do want to be a streamer, the best advice that I'd give is just to start fucking doing it. I started with, in fact, you guys want to hear it? You don't even need the best equipment. That's the best advice that I can also give is you don't need the best equipment. I started out with a $30 microphone that I bought on Amazon. I don't remember how much the webcam cost, the first webcam that I had, but it was also very dirt cheap, again, off of Amazon, with the cheapest headphones I could buy. I started with a very cheap, I had a decent PC. I still use the same PC that I used when I first started streaming. I didn't have this, what are they called? The Shure SM7, whatever the fuck, those like fancy ass microphones with the XLR cables. I didn't have that. I didn't have that setup. I had a very bare bones setup with a ring light that I got for $40 at Target that is still broken to this day, that I still use. I haven't replaced it. It's still a little janky. It still cuts out light sometimes. What I'm trying to say is you don't need the best equipment. You don't need a valid reason to want to start doing it. Just start doing it. So many of your favorite creators started out filming videos on their iPhones or streaming from really cheap PC setups. So, and the reason I say that point is I feel like everybody comes up with all these reasons in their head as to why they can't start just yet. Oh, well, I don't have a full XLR mic setup, or I don't have a decent enough PC that has the latest graphics card and a bajillion gigabytes of RAM. You don't need any of that. You really don't. That's a lie that's being sold to you. You get that as you grow. Upgrade as you grow. Start with what you have. Because if I never started with the cheap, shitty $30 microphone that I had, and then eventually upgraded to the one that I have right now, which I think is pretty okay, I think it's pretty good, I wouldn't be where I am now. So my best advice is to just start creating content with what you have. Because you probably have a lot more in front of you than you realize. And maybe you don't. But my advice to you is to start small. Because when you start small, and you start with just the most bare bones stuff, not the best equipment in the world, it motivates you more to want to get better stuff, to want to get to a point where you can start to upgrade to, a $500 camera like I have. Not to sound like I'm trying to attach price tags to everything here. But obviously, when it comes to upgrading equipment, that kind of becomes a bit of a factor, is price, obviously. You know, you can start out with very, very little and still have fun making content. And that seems to be the answer to both this question from this episode, which is a great question, by the way. I love this question. I always wanted to answer it and give my 2 cents. But also to the last video where I talked about how you should just start having fun making content in the first place, because that's going to show to people more than having the nicest camera. You can have the best setup ever. You can buy a 4K camera and a, several $1,000, mic setup. Not that I think it would cost that much, but you can buy all that. You can have it all, right? But if you don't have the developed skills to just be entertaining in front of an audience, then what's it all for? What does it matter that you have this nice setup? What does it matter if you're not able to really do anything? At that point, you kind of wasted your money and you wasted your time a little bit getting all this stuff because you're not having fun doing it. So my whole point that I hope that I've made very clear here is that you don't need the best stuff. You don't need, you don't need any of that. In fact, what I'm trying to say is don't have high expectations. Just have fun doing it. Like I said, I gained my first core audience of people who still, for the most part, most of them still regularly watch my streams, watch my content. I still see them in chat off of, getting drunk on stream and playing Truck Sim with my shitty setup and in my awful, tucked away in the corner of my room with, I used to stream in front of my closet door before I moved everything around to be a little more geared towards creating content. I started very small when I was in my senior year of college. And my number one piece of advice is to just find something at first. For me, it was Truck Sim. For me, it was getting drunk on stream, which I don't advise doing. I was just doing it because I didn't think I would get to where I am now, almost 2 years later. Almost 2 years later. Still streaming, still making content like that. I didn't think I would get to that point. Filming myself in the corner of my room in front of my closet door. In fact, if you go back to those old clips of me back in the day, you can literally see that I'm just sitting in front of my closet door where my setup used to be. It was really bad. And here I am now, collabing with some people who I think are very talented, meeting people online who I share common interests with me. Some people who even look up to me now, and I think that's amazing. Even though I'm still very small, I haven't even broken 300 followers on Twitch yet, which, by the way, we're getting very, very close. If you'd like to go follow me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/TripShoes, live every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night. Sorry, I gotta do a shameless plug, gotta do it. Sorry, part of the job. But whoever submitted this question, I hope I answered what you were. I hope I gave you what you were looking for here. Hope I gave you the proper response. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Not disheveled. You guys can't see me. That's what I also like about doing this series. I don't have to have the camera on. I can look however I want to look. I had a very late night last night. My life is very turbulent at the moment, but I saw this question. It was actually the most recent question that was submitted to the show or to the forum, and I knew I had to answer it. So I said, you know what? I got to just hop in here and do it. I'm very tired right now. I stayed up way too late last night. That's what being 25 years old will do to you, by the way. The minute you hit that age, you can't stay up late anymore. Partying is not for you anymore. Which reminds me, I actually have to get ready to go to something like that very, very soon. If you want to be a streamer, the best advice that I have to give to you is to just start doing it with whatever you have. Don't worry about all that other stuff that comes later on. Don't worry about having this amazing setup, amazing equipment. If you're good enough and you're just having fun doing it, that support. In fact, I actually want to say this. I want to say that for the most part, most of the equipment that I've bought since then, since I started streaming, has been paid for by you guys, by my viewers. In fact, my microphone that I'm recording this off of right now wouldn't have been possible without you guys. Upgrading my setup so that I can have a wired connection to my PC would not be possible without you guys. And I started from a shitty microphone that I got on Amazon for $30. a webcam that I think the webcam was actually, not even joking, $20 off of Amazon, and a broken ring light that I got from like the Target clearance section. So what I'm trying to say is it's okay to start from what you think is nothing, even when you have something and you don't realize that it is something. It takes some time to realize what you really have. Because I look back on that now. Even some days I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, I could have such a better setup. I should have like this, multi-camera setup in my room and have it look super nice and, perfect lighting and everything. But then I remember where I started from with that micro life camera. I want to go find that camera. Actually, maybe I'll go find the old webcam and plug it in and see how it works. Maybe you guys will get a little Easter egg at the end of this video where you get to see what that looks like. But yeah, it's just start making content. Don't have high expectations. Just start doing it and have fun doing it. In fact, when you first start out, lower your, I don't want to say lower your expectations. Well, yeah, don't have high expectations, but like, don't worry so much about being, brand presentable. Don't worry so much about that. Have fun doing it. I'm not saying that you should be super edgy and, say all these awful things on stream. No. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, I got my start getting drunk and playing Truck Sim. In fact, I made a drinking game out of Truck Sim. I don't condone doing that anymore, by the way. Like, I don't condone doing that. I'm just saying that that's where I got my start. And now I am where I am now, watching movies on stream with you guys, playing some of the best games that I've ever played in my life with you guys, being able to experience that. Because I started off with low expectations and just high energy. High energy is what I have to tell you guys as my best piece of advice. My closing thoughts on that is just have high energy, low expectations when it comes to first getting into making content. In fact, if you're watching this video right now and you're listening to this, I want to throw this out to you right now. Do your first stream. Do it with whatever you have. Buy a cheap webcam. $20 on Amazon. Buy the shittiest one you can find, in fact. Buy the shittiest microphone. Stream with whatever you have. And make whatever you can. Start somewhere. You never know where it's going to take you. Well, I've rambled for long enough. In fact, I don't even have enough gameplay footage to cover this time that I see on my Audacity file right now, so I'm gonna have to go record more Far Cry 6 gameplay footage for you guys over this. But let's answer one more question before we end the video. In fact, this last question isn't even a question, it's actually a confession. And this one says, I sucked girl penis. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. This was very fun. I was dying to answer this question, and if you'd like to submit a question, I'm going to put the Google form link right down below in the description. You can click on that, submit a question, submit as many questions as you want. All that I ask is you make them anonymous and make them something that I can make content out of. Don't trauma dump. Don't treat me like a therapist. I'm not a therapist. I'm a half funny Twitch streamer. Okay. Well, either way, guys. Hope this video meant something to you. And have a good rest of your day, or night, or evening, or afternoon. I'm Trip Shoes. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube whenever I upload, and every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good one, guys.